What if the US dollar's dominance was never meant to last forever? What if every global reserve currency in history followed the same hidden life cycle? And the dollar is now entering its most dangerous phase? Most people believe reserve currency status is permanent, a symbol of national strength. But history tells a different story. From the Roman denarius, to the Dutch guilder, to the British pound, every reserve currency rose, ruled the world, and eventually declined. So here's the mystery. If every monetary empire before America collapsed, what makes the dollar think it's different? To answer that, we need to uncover the 7-stage reserve currency cycle and see exactly where the dollar stands today. Part 1. Origins. The birth of monetary empires long before paper money. Empires used dominant currencies to control trade. The Roman Empire spread the denarius across Europe and the Mediterranean. Merchants trusted it, armies demanded it. Taxes enforced it. But as Rome overspent on wars and politics, silver content in the coins was reduced. Trust declined. Inflation rose. The system cracked. Centuries later, the Dutch guilder ruled global trade in the 1600s, until debt and competition ended its dominance. Then the British pound took over during the Industrial Revolution, until 2 world wars drained Britain as wealth. The pattern repeated every time. And in 1944, at Bretton Woods, the US dollar inherited the throne. Not by accident, but by design. America held the world's gold. Its economy was untouched by war. Its military protected global trade routes. The dollar was crowned king, but the cycle had already begun. Part 2. The Rise. Stages 1 to 4. The Golden Era. Economists studying reserve currency history identify early stages. Stage 1. A nation gains economic dominance. Stage 2. Its currency becomes widely accepted in trade. Stage 3. Global savings flow into its financial markets. Stage 4. The currency becomes the world's reserve. America passed these stages rapidly. Post-war reconstruction made the world dependent on dollars. Oil was priced in dollars. Central banks stored dollars as reserves. The result? The US could import real goods by exporting paper claims. Living standards rose. Debt was manageable. Confidence was absolute. This was the golden age. But hidden beneath success was the seed of decline. Reserve currency nations eventually consume more than they produce. Because they can, and once that happens, the next stage begins. Part 3. The Breaking Point. Stage 5. The Debt Explosion. This is where the story turns. By the 1970s, America could no longer back the dollar with gold. In 1971, convertibility ended. The dollar became pure trust. But the world still needed it to buy oil and trade globally. Demand remained high, allowing the US to borrow endlessly. Deficits grew. Debt expanded. Consumption replaced production. And here's the key transition. In Stage 5, a reserve currency nation finances its lifestyle with debt, not output. That stage is defined by rapid debt accumulation, asset bubbles, financialization of the economy. Declining manufacturing, rising inequality. Sound familiar? Today, U.S. national debt exceeds $34 trillion. Debt grows faster than GDP. Interest payments rival defense spending. Wall Street profits dominate the economy. Real wages stagnate. This is textbook Stage 5 behavior. The system still functions, but stress fractures appear. Part 4. The Fallout. Early Stage 6 signals as debt rises. Confidence begins to weaken. Foreign nations start reducing reliance on the reserve currency. Alternative payment systems emerge. Hard assets like gold gain attention. We are seeing this now, central banks buying record amounts of gold. Bilateral trade agreements bypassing the dollar. Digital currency experiments, energy deals settled in non-dollar currencies, none of these alone end dollar dominance. But together, they signal preparation for a post-dollar world. Just as Britain experienced in the early 20th century, still powerful but no longer unchallenged. Part 5. Failed fixes. Delaying the cycle. Governments attempt solutions, raising interest rates, printing money, stimulus packages, regulatory reforms. But every fix expands debt further. Because the real solution, reducing consumption and rebuilding production, is politically painful. So the system chooses delay over repair. History shows this pattern clearly. Rome debased its coins. Britain borrowed to maintain empire. Now America expands credit to sustain lifestyles. Different era, same response. Part 6. Modern Parallels. History rhymes. When the British pound declined, Britain still had global influence, but no longer monetary control. When the Dutch lost reserve status, their financial dominance faded within decades. No collapse overnight, just gradual loss of privilege. The US today shows identical markers. Declining share of global manufacturing, rising dependence on foreign capital, growing political division, military spending financed by debt, increasing distrust in institutions. These are late-cycle symptoms. The dollar remains dominant, but dominance is no longer absolute. And in monetary history, perception is everything. Once trust shifts, transitions accelerate. Part 7. 3 takeaways. First, every reserve currency follows a life cycle. No exceptions in recorded history. Second, Stage 5 is defined by debt-driven prosperity, exactly where the dollar stands today. Third, the end of reserve status is not instant collapse, but slow erosion of privilege. Final warning, the open question: if the dollar is now in Stage 5, what happens when the world reaches Stage 6? Will America adapt peacefully to a multipolar currency world?